What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Beyond the Wrestling Gear podcast. I'm here with DCCW veteran Chris Spyder. Welcome, Chris.
Hey, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure. I heard from Mr. Raheem, who we had as a guest previously, about you, and you're very seasoned. You mentioned to me prior to the show that you traveled to the UK, and I want to know how that experience was for you. How was that like?
It was very different, to say the least. So when I got over there, I wasn't expecting the food to be as different as it was, but the fried food, insanely good. I mean, and the people over there, so incredibly nice. The wrestling over there was different. It was It was just all around good. All around a great experience that I think that any professional wrestler should go and experience.
That's fantastic. I know you were involved in WrestlePlex. I think it was last weekend, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I wrestled against Sam Phoenix. The surprised guest referee was actually one of my old tag team partners, Chase Hansen, who came out there and pretty much screwed me over on the match, to say the least.
I guess you're coming after him, right? That's the next he's the next target for you.
Yeah, yeah. If only, he recently got out of the wrestling business. I mean, he's a commissioner over there for SWT. So I mean, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try everything in my power to get my hands on him.
Speaking about SWT, I did see a post that you're the current two-time SWT middleweight champion.
I am. Well, actually, I believe it's a three-time SWT middleweight champion. I wasn't the first. I was the second middleweight champ and then recently got the belt. So I'm very, very happy about that and happy about my accomplishments over there.
Are you Do you consider yourself more of a shot caller, meaning that you welcome open challenges, like you go into the middle of the ring and you call people out and you're like, I'll challenge anybody for this belt. I'll defend this belt anywhere I go.
Honestly, it's one of those things. Yes, I will defend it if I have to, but do I like defending it? No, not at all. What's mine is mine, and I believe that I have earned that. And if you want to earn that opportunity, you're gonna have to go through a long list of guys to get to where I'm at.
Okay, okay, I like that. You're more of like this is mine, and you're gonna have to pry it out of my hands, right?
That's right. That's right.
So you've been a DCCW you've been at DCCW for a long time. Tell me how you got started into the wrestling business.
So, all right. So, I got into the wrestling business when I was just 15 years old by a guy named White Trash Fred, aka Logan Steele. Me and a buddy Travis, when I was in high school, I watched wrestling for like maybe a week, couldn't stop talking about it. And my buddy Travis, he was like, "Hey, I know this guy. He has his ring in his backyard. Let's go and do this." And I was like, "Okay, let's fucking go," And so went over there, met old Logan Steele, gave me my first bump, had a concussion off of that, and the only thing I can remember is him asking me, when I wanted to do it again, and I said tomorrow. Instantly hooked. Then Logan Steele got me in contact with a guy named Tommy Dame, who was my first trainer, or my second trainer, I guess technically. Tommy gave me my first match, and then introduced me to Steve and Vanessa, which helped me phenomenally, open doors for me to where a guy my size wouldn't have doors opened. So I definitely want to hand that off to them and say I appreciate that, for what they did for me. I had my first match over there, or not my first match, but a match over there, and you know, kind of lost touch with Steve and Vanessa. It wasn't my fault, it wasn't their fault, it's just something that happens. But fast forward to when I came back, July would be 15 years in the business for me because I'm fixing to, got in at 15 and now I'm fixing to be 30. So fast forward to Burgers and Brawls of this year, and Jules Bradley um said, "Hey, we're doing something for CPW Proving Ground. uh, you know, uh, let's let's get you in there. Let's get you involved." I love Jules to death, and I'd do anything for Jules, and I said, "Yeah, sure." And so he told me, he was like, "It's gonna be in DCCW. You're gonna be in front of Steve and Vanessa," and I was ecstatic right there. So went there. Man, I almost cried seeing Steve and Vanessa because I haven't seen them in so long. It was like a family reunion almost. And so I got there and, did my match for CPW, and Steve and Vanessa pulled me aside and they were like, "Hey, we know you're not booked, but we would like to have you on the card as the opening match." And even more, I wanted to cry because I was like, "Oh my God, these people are like family," and I look up to these people, and I was just so ecstatic, being able to be back after such a long time, of being gone.
That's awesome, and I've heard a lot of wonderful things about Steve and Vanessa, and I've seen them from afar at River City Wrestling Con because I've been there the last 2 years, but I've never gotten a chance to talk to them. I was last year there. I did bump into Jules, I bumped into Raheem, and I met Raheem last year, and he's such a wonderful guy, such an amazing guy. Uh, so much respect for him and Jules and DCCW in general. I've met Styx, I've met Warren, great guys, great. You know, I love when it comes to small indie promotions that are like a family. I just love that.
Mhm.
I just love that.
I completely agree. It's a brotherhood. You gotta respect the ones that respect you, if you know what I mean.
Definitely, and especially when they're willing to give you opportunities, like you mentioned. As someone of your stature, you think about Daniel Bryan. He's a very small wrestler, but he's very technical and very wrestling savvy. During when Vince was pretty much in charge, he wouldn't really get those opportunities because he was small and he was overlooked often.
Yes.
Now we're starting to see the shift of, let's give the smaller opponent an opportunity and see where they can take it. Example, last night, NXT No Mercy, Ricky Saints, he won the NXT title from Obafemi. Obafemi's a guy who's 6'6", 300 pounds. Saints, on the other hand, he's about 200, 6'2", 6'3", and he won the championship.
Yeah, and see, it wasn't always like that, for guys like me, not to compare myself to anybody, but for guys like Brian Danielson or Sammy Guevara, it wasn't always like that. This was much heavily a bigger guy's game, and it's just now starting to shift to where it's like, okay, even though these guys are small, they're good, you know?
They're good, and they're definitely capable of being champions and doing a lot for the company.
Yes. Yes.
So for you, being in the business for so long, who has been a beacon of motivation for you? Like, you've spoken to many wrestlers in the locker room, and who has given you the best advice, or who have given you the best advice?
Oh my goodness. Let me think about that. I know Dusty. I met Dusty Rhodes when I was just getting into
Uh,
the business. And he was a funny character. One thing that I remember him saying to me, I went out to him at an FCW event in Lake City, Florida, and I remember him. I remember going up to him as a small, just a green boy, and saying, "Hey, Dusty, what can I do to further myself in this business. And he looked at me and he says, "Baby, you got to get bigger. You got to get more height on you." And I just laughed and I was like, "Okay, thank you, Dusty." But, another guy that really, I've been watching throughout my whole entire career and, kind of try and follow, even in my personal life is Ric Flair. Ric Flair has been such an inspiration to me, even though me and him only seen each other once. From what I can tell, he's a great guy, and I've always looked up to him.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, especially like, you read the dirt sheets and all these kind of websites, and you learn more about the negative side of the person versus the actual good side. They like to really just, throw that out there and they forget that. And every time you go and deal with a dark time, there's always something good in that person. You just gotta give them a chance, get to know them.
100%, 100%.
And not everybody's perfect, not everybody's gonna be nice to you, kind to you, give you advice. If they don't, they don't. It's okay.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you can ask my beautiful girlfriend. I mean, she could tell you, hey, he's an asshole, but he's a decent guy.
Yeah. Does she wrestle too?
No, she does not.
Okay. Okay, so she's more of the support behind the scenes. She keeps you motivated.
Yep, she keeps me motivated, one foot in front of the other type deal.
Hey, that's always good, especially mental health is big nowadays. And I know
Yeah, yeah.
with you being on the road a lot, it probably takes its toll on you, right? You go through a lot.
I've been through vehicles. I've been, like you says, I've been up and down the road. I mean, I've been to the UK like we previously talked about. I've been, you know, in I think it's like 6 or 7 states that I've wrestled in cross country, and one thing I always try and tell my people is take the time for yourself. Take the time for your loved ones and always cherish that time, because even though you're on the road 24/7, there's that little spare time that you have to really enjoy your life.
What's been your favorite state so far?
I would definitely have to say Wisconsin. Wisconsin was so much fun for me because of the cheese. Ever since being in Wisconsin, I'm a big cheesehead, right? Chocolate cheese, cheese curds, you name it, I've had it while I was up there.
Chocolate cheese?
Chocolate cheese, so good, so good.
Are we talking like for like a dessert or like just like a side dish?
It could be a dessert, it can be a side dish. I mean, it could be whatever you want. I just ate it plain, you know?
Is it like purely made like the chocolate? Like we're talking about like from the cocoa bean?
Yes.
So that must be good then.
Oh, it's so fantastic, so great.
Yeah, I'm a big chocolate guy myself, so I have to check that out.
Yeah, you would like it. Some chocolate cheese with a pint of beer. My God, you're talking good stuff right there.
Hey man, I'm glad that's one of your favorite states. I've gotten to travel a bit myself, but not too much. But I definitely enjoy um trying new foods and especially going to different wrestling events and stuff like that too. Man, good
Good,
for
good.
you. Good for you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man. So as far as like we've been talking about you extensively traveling, what shows you've done. What's been the hardest part about you being on the road?
The hardest part is definitely being away from my family.
Being
Being away from, my current girlfriend. I mean, we've been together now for about 8 months and every time I go it doesn't get any easier. Family is very valuable in this life. So always cherish it. That's what I always tell people. One big thing a lot of people don't know about me, but when I started when I was 15, I had a major support system in my cousin Jonathan. And fast forward 5 years later to when I was about 20 years old, he passed away. And these past 10 years, I've been giving it all I've got, for his memory. So, like I says, take the time you can, enjoy your family because those moments on the road, yes, they are fun, but they're nowhere near as fun as the time you spend with your family.
Awesome, awesome, brother. I love that response, and of course, um, that it's always tough to lose a family member, but you always have to realize that they'll always be there with you, no matter where you
Oh
go.
yeah, 100%, 100%.
So, what do you enjoy doing outside of the ring? Like, what are some of your interests?
So, what I enjoy outside of the ring, I love golfing. I will take every opportunity I can to go golfing. Love video games, love playing games with the little ones inside. I love what else? I'm a big so I've recently got into writing. I have produced my own book. It's called The Jester's Hollow. It's on Amazon and it's on Barnes and Noble right now, fixing to go into stores. So, I'm a published author. Really big into real estate. I like looking into real estate, buying, selling, doing whatever I can to make a quick dollar. Yeah, I mean, that's about it. That's what I love doing.
Being that you mentioned you're an author and a writer, do you see yourself in like a few years being a part of creative, maybe working backstage, setting up matches, storylines for other wrestlers, things like that?
I would like to do something in that capacity later on down the line. I think it would be fun. I think it would be something I would be open to. But right now I gotta focus on myself and getting myself, more championships.
Get yourself out there, right? Any promotions you're targeting lately?
So one of my home promotions is New Heights Wrestling and Tampa Bay Pro Wrestling. I ain't really targeting any new promotions as of right now, but those are my main ones that I am targeting.
And what about maybe the future? Do you ever see yourself getting called up to like, one of the no one of like the top four? We're talking about like New Japan, TNA, WWE, AEW.
Well, I got my passport, so New Japan, I'm ready. But in all seriousness, I would like to see myself there. But it's a long stretch. I would hope to see myself there at one time, but the future will tell. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, you so far you have an amazing career, an amazing story. I mean, have you definitely have the aura that you can be this big baby face that can really put people over and just win over a crowd, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I am mainly a heel. I love heel work. Breaking kayfabe here. I'm sorry, but I love the heel work more because I'm so much more of an asshole in real life than I am a good guy. So it's easy for me to go and be that heel.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Like it's easier to be a heel than a face. I guess it's because it doesn't take too much to be a heel, I'm assuming. I mean, it's just, you know,
It takes a lot more than it does a baby face, in my humble opinion. Most guys will say different, but in my humble opinion, it's a lot harder to get a reaction as a heel unless you really stand out.
I think there's this term in life. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but I think it takes more to smile than it does to frown. There's like a saying, I forget what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, it's something to do with the muscles in the
Yeah.
face, and it takes more to smile than it does to frown. It's easier to frown than it is to smile.
It reminded me of that a little bit.
Okay, okay, I like that.
Yeah, yeah, man. And it seems like you've had such a great career so far.
Thank you.
I mean, being that you've been in the business for 15 years, what do you have to say to those wanting to start out? Looking to get into it.
Find a good school. Find a good home base. Just listen to the vets. Don't be one of those asshole green kids that comes up to you and comes up to a vet and tells them about their match and then goes and does the opposite thing. Just listen, 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 listen. That is the best advice I can give anybody wanting to start out. Listen.
Would have you been seen instances where they've kicked the rookie out of a locker room?
I've been in a couple of locker rooms that they've kicked a rookie out. It wasn't fun to watch, and sometimes it helps the rookie. Sometimes it discourages the rookie, and we'll never see him again. It's just all who you are and all how you take it. I've been kicked out of a locker room before, and it's given me that motivation of, okay, yeah, I need to do better.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I mean, sometimes it is good for the better. I mean, look at the Miz. I mean, I think this was back when he was first starting. He was eating fried chicken near a veteran's bag, and I guess it got in the bag, and they got kicked out. And Taker had to eventually slowly bring him back in, and he never met
Yeah,
up again. And look at the Miz now. He became if not one of the best veterans
I
in
agree.
today's era.
I definitely do agree.
So there's always something good that comes out of something negative.
Yes, yes, I definitely do agree.
Well, my friend, it's been a pleasure getting to chat with you and sit down with you. Where can my listeners find you?
Th they can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and those are the 3 major platforms that I have. If you're wanting to buy my new book, it is on Amazon and, Barnes& and Noble. It will be in stores very, very soon. Look up The Jester's Hollow. So, yeah, that's where they can find me, at Chris Spyder on everything.
Hey, brother, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Hey, no, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Hey, and if you guys want to check out this episode, you guys can go on Spotify, you guys can go on YouTube, and as always, we don't just talk wrestling, we go beyond the wrestling gear. Thanks so much, you guys, and have a good one. Thank you again, Chris.
Thank you. Peace out.